Hey friends, welcome to the Southern Romantics new Consultant Weekly webinar. This week we are talking about goal setting, and this is our 5th call. Today we've got Cindy and Wen joining us. We might have a couple other people popping in, and really quickly we're going to run over some of the homework that we assigned last week. So last week, if you remember, we talked about marketing our businesses, becoming a professionista, and how to rock social media. So their homework assignments were to find 2 vendor events in your area, complete the monthly income goal sheet, and to share which avenues of social media you're going to use to help market your business. Now, Wen wasn't able to really join us on the call last week, so I'm going to ask Cindy what she has accomplished. Cindy, it's your turn.
Hey, I found actually 3 vendor events. They're all wedding festivals at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
There's 2 in Greenville and 1 in Spartanburg.
Awesome.
And you're signed up for both of them because that's who is on there. Then I did not complete my monthly goal sheet, so I failed that. But I use Facebook as my social network, and today I actually set up my SenseShare.
Yay!
So I was getting that since I got another job. That way I can still be active and have stuff posting while I'm at work.
Fantastic. That's awesome. Thanks so much for sharing that. Now, I know, Wen, you weren't at the last call and you're not currently at your house. We're going to harass you for that on the next call that you join. You ready?
Okay. I will.
Awesome. All right. So with that, they know I love them, but I'm going to go ahead and put them on mute so that we can talk about some of the goal setting. Woohoo! Okay. So we had asked them to fill out the income goal sheet now so that when we're talking about goal setting, they'll have a little bit more of a reference point. So the things that we talk about when we talk about goals, we talk about having SMART goals. Now, this is something that you're going to hear lots of people talk about, using this acronym of SMART to plan your goals and to kind of make sure that they are within a realm of reality for you. So I'm going to show you what the acronym stands for, and you know it's going to take me like 50,000 years to figure out which tab it's open on. Just kidding. I found it. Yay! All right, let me see if I can make this a little smaller so we can see more. All right, so this is just a PDF document that we've got available and that will be made available to you guys. But you can see SMART describes goal setting as specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based. So it's just 5 easy ways when you're thinking about everything that you want to accomplish in your business and in life, or whatever else you're setting goals for. Kind of keeping yourself in check with those realms is going to be fantastic. So the first one is specific. Your goals need to be something specific. When you set goals that they're kind of vague, then it's really hard to judge whether you've actually achieved those goals or not. So if you say, oh, my sales goal for this month is I want to just, I just want to make more money than I had when I woke up. Okay. Yeah, but how much money do you need? Do you need to make your car payment? Do you need to make your mortgage payment? If you're just like, oh, yeah, I'll just take whatever, then it's really kind of hard to judge that. And the biggest, this is probably skipping ahead, but the biggest reason why people don't hit their goals is a fear of failure. And we'll talk more about that later. But make your goals and be specific with them. Okay. So when you're saying, I want to pay down debt, and that's your goal, obviously that's just a little too vague. How will you know if you reached your goal? If your debt is $20,000, you might not be able to hit that in a month. But if you make a commitment that you want to put at least $1,000 towards your debt every single month, then that's a goal of you paying off debt in 20 months, as long as you're not accumulating anymore. So measurable. So making sure that your goals are measurable. And that's, again, for us as consultants, we need to increase our parties to be able to make more money. So if your goal is, I want to book more parties, but you don't put a number to that goal, then you won't be able to measure it, right? So if you want to book 5 parties and say out loud, I want to book 5 parties, or I want to book 1 new party at every party, that's a great goal just to start out with, because that way you're replenishing your calendar. Goals should be achievable. Most consultants strive to make a certain amount of money with their business, and success and failure depends on practicing and setting your goals. So if your goal for the year is to earn $12,000 in your pocket, it's probably not going to happen in just a couple weeks of business, and you get to take the rest of the year off. So you need to make sure that you know what it's going to take every single week to chip away at that goal. And again, goals need to be realistic. Often when we're smaller, we think we can accomplish anything. And then you guys know, as we get a little bit older, that gets a little bit more difficult. So while we can have a lot of things that we want, we can't have it all necessarily all at the same time. So chipping away little by little is a great way to help you meet those goals. And then evaluate them. Is that realistic? Can I actually achieve that? If your goal is to become a millionaire in 2 years and buy a private island, is that actually going to happen? Maybe. But you need to make sure you're setting those realistic goals. Because I know for me, that'd be lovely, but that's not in my 2-year plan. And then time-based, you need to have a time frame for these goals. So that will give you a deadline. I love a deadline. And don't be a procrastinator and wait till the night before and think that you're going to be able to whip that goal and pull it out of a magic hat. You have to work towards it. But if you set a deadline, then that helps it break into smaller, more manageable chunks so you can tackle a little bit every single day at a time. If you leave it open-ended without a timeline or a time frame, there's no sense of urgency. So what's really going to be a big deal if you don't achieve that goal, right? So if you're in this example, it's $12,000, which is $1,000 of income for you a month. And if you have a deadline of to pay it off in a year, that's perfect. So that's 12 months, $1,000 is $12,000. But you know that it's going to take you that long, then you need to make sure you've got your deadline set of next November. So that's what we talk about when we talk about SMART goal setting. So again, this handout is available for you on our Dropbox folder that I will link to this, so you guys will be able to see that. But especially because we focus so much on goal setting as a team, we do a lot of talking about it in our January meeting to kind of get everybody excited and plotting out for the year. But this is something we're going to touch base on a lot throughout the course of the year, because there's so much stuff that we have going on that it's easy to remember in January, or it's easy to think in January where you want to be. But if you don't have these little touchstones throughout the course of the year, you might not know how close you are to meeting your goal. That's why I do something like the chart that's on the back of my door, so that I can see, you know, here's our big fat goal for the year, but here it is month by month, chunk by chunk. And that kind of helps me see throughout the year if, you know, we have a goal of this every single month, but we're only hitting this, that I need to either reassess my goals and make sure that they're realistic, or I need to help you guys focus on our goals so we can get that going. One of the things that corporate provides for us, which is really cool, is our income goal sheet. I'm sorry, our 12-month business plan on the COO. Please nod your head vigorously if you've been able to find that. I'm trying to pull it up right now for you guys so everyone can see it. And let's log in. And I will share my screen with you, and we will all find it together. So this is great because it kind of helps you figure out where you're going to be, where you want to go, and how you're going to get there. Ooh, I have a new lead. Yay! I will talk to you in just a couple minutes, new lead. I'm on a training call right now. Let's go back to my home page. Sorry, I know you guys don't get to see any of this happening, but now I will share my screen with you. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so here's our COO. All right, when we talk about goal setting, we're going to go to My Business and down here to My Business Plan. And this is going to plot you out for 12 months what you want to do. And you can do this anytime. So when you are brand spanking new, you can go ahead and fill this out. And it only asks you 2 questions. It's how much money do you want to make? And it tells you per month or per year. So I went ahead and I put in $2,000. I would like to earn $2,000 per month. Obviously, I'll take more, but this is just a good number for me to work with right now. What is your average party total? And you can slide this. So if I, had an average of $950 in sales or an average of $100 in sales, I can figure that out. We're just going to say 500 because for me, that's about average. If you haven't been in the business long enough to figure out what your average party is, that's totally fine, because you can use the corporate average. So you just check that box, and then you can generate a new plan. Boom. So then it just kind of comes down here, and it says where you have created your personalized Pure Romance business plan. So this breaks it down in December. These are all the types of parties I need to have. So for me to hit $2,000 a month for the next year, I need to hold 97 parties within this year. I need to make these many calls each week to make sure I have those parties booked. So it looks like in February, I'm going to be on the phone a lot and having a lot of parties. In January, because I want those parties to book in February, I'm going to be calling a lot of people. So that's 24 people a week. So that's almost 100 people a month, which is totally cool. So let's do that. 24 divided by, let's say there's 7 days in a week. So that's just under 4 calls a day. So that's just reaching out to 4 contacts, new or old. And those are just for parties. So that's to make sure that my calendar is full, because I'm going to make that $2,000 off my parties. Obviously, anything I want to earn on my override is going to be icing on top of the cake. So we're not really factoring that in. These are just my sales numbers. So if I am looking at this and I already know May, I've got so much happening in May. I'm just really busy, and I'm just not going to be able to commit to doing 8 parties. And I can like bust this down and say I'm going to do 2 parties, and you can see that it adjusts, you know, and it reevaluates. So now I need to have 15 parties in February, so I need to call 105 people in January. This tells you your retail total. These are how much in sales I want to do per month. So this tells me at the end of the year, I should be doing $48,500. And then my profit from this at my 50% discount, and that tells you what your discount is right here. That's going to tell you how much I'm going to earn. So that says I'm going to earn $24,250. Hooray! Now, if I got our promotion, I could earn an additional $2,000, which would be really cool. Because promotions are great. Yay! And then this is cool because when you complete your business plan, you can check who you want to email it to. So if you haven't done this yet already, I would love for you to do this when you have a chance this week. That's one of your homework assignments. And make sure you email my sponsor, which would be me, or for in your case one, it would be Sherry. So make sure that you share this with your sponsor so that they know that you have set your new business plan for the year, and you can also print this out and hold yourself accountable. So you can just do all these calls in a week and make your check marks and just know that you are working towards your goal. So that's a great way that corporate has really worked with us to help us set goals. So I hope that's helpful for you guys. The income goal sheet is something that we fill out a couple times throughout the course of the year at our team meetings, because again, it just kind of helps you break things down. I'm going to open this up and share it with you guys. This is just in a Word document, so you can do this on a monthly basis. You can do it based off of your 12-month business plan, or if you want to jack it up a little bit, we can make that happen as well. So let me get my computer to wake up and share the screen with you guys. Income goal sheet, go. Okay, so this is what this page looks like for us. And we can just scroll down. So this is just month by month. And this is something, especially as a newer consultant, I'd encourage you to print out. And these 3 goals that you want to achieve this month, these can be personal, they can be professional, it can be totally up to you. If it's, I want to pay down debt, but I also want to put $300 away for my car payment, or $300 away for my vacation fund. Whatever 3 goals that you just want to work on this month, write it down. Write it down. You have to write down your goals. If you just say it out loud, that's great. But you need to write it down because it's going to make you hold yourself accountable. Again, what I said earlier, the biggest reason why people don't write their goals down is they're scared of failing, which is totally understandable. But you're the only person that's going to know these goals. So you're only letting yourself down. But it's also, if you've got a little bit of competitive nature inside of you, this is going to be good. All right, having this written down, because you're going to see it every single morning. You know, go ahead and print out a couple of these, write your goals down, put them all over the house before you leave. When you know you're going to go to the grocery store, you're going to go meet your girlfriend for lunch. That's amazing, but is that time better spent on the phone getting parties booked instead of spending money at Don Pablo's with their free margarita? No. Call your friends, pick up the phone. Okay, so write your 3 goals. You want to make X amount of money this month with your Pure Romance income. So that's your desired income. So again, let's just say your desired income is $2,000. So you're gonna write $2,000 in this one right here. Your current buying discount, let's say for you as a new consultant, is 40%. So you're gonna write 40% right here. So your total sales needed is number 1 divided by number 2. And remember, when you're dividing percentages, to do the 0.40. Okay, so if we're doing $2,000, my computer's like, hey, this calculator is not supposed to be open right now. And then we're gonna divide it by 0.4. Let me see if I'm doing that right. That's not right. So we're going to times it because it's a point. So $2,000 times 0.4, that's going to be that's not right. Anyway, we'll figure it out. You guys just do the math on that. You guys know that I'm terrible at math, and I already warned these lovely ladies that I have had a lot of turkey already this weekend. So your total sales needed to get $2,000 at a 40% discount is going to be close to about $5,000. So that's what that line 3 is going to be. And then say your average party sales are $400. So if we're at $5,000, that's right? 2,000 divided by 0.4, $5,000, and then we are going to divide that by your $400 parties. So that says 12.5, which means that you're going to need 13 parties to hold. Woohoo! So your number of parties needed to get $2,000 at a 40% discount is 13 parties. That's a big, heavy load. That's more than I typically do. So you're really going to want to try to promote so you get that higher buying discount, and you're going to want to up your party average so you work smarter and not harder. The other thing you need to remember is that cancellations happen. So if you know that you have to have 13 parties, you need to book 15 because you're going to have a couple cancellations. You would hate to only book 13 parties, have 2 or 3 of them cancel, and now you're left with 10 or 11 parties and you fell short of your income goal. What's the worst that could happen if all 15 of your parties held? You get some extra money. That's a good thing. Okay. How are you going to get those parties? Writing that, I'm going to make these calls. I'm going to meet X amount of people. Don't forget 5 is alive. I'm going to ask everybody in the shopping room. And this challenges you. Have you truly been asking everyone at your parties if they're interested? Have you been following up and making phone calls? What are 2 things you can do to increase your business right now? So this income goal sheet is awesome, but it's going to ask you some hard questions. Again, you don't turn it in for points or anything from me. You just have to be honest with yourself. Okay. Stop share. Back to me. I'm a big face. Okay. All right. So the goals versus wishful thinking. This is another document I wanted to share with you guys. So let me pull this up and get it ready to share with your beautiful faces. This is a 3-page document that I got from some of the other consultants that is really kind of nice because a lot of us have big dreams when we start with Pure Romance, which is fan-friggin-tastic, and I highly encourage it. But again, we want to make sure that we're being realistic about it. So this goals versus wishful thinking, it's a couple pages of words, so you're just going to have to read it a little bit. But you've decided why you're in business and what you want to earn, and I would just encourage you guys to read this. I'm not going to insult your intelligence or waste our time reading this, but read this and honestly think about it. Again, this lays out for you these SMART goals. It helps you break down your specific goals: who, what, when, where, why, and they threw a which in there too, just in case you need to identify some things. Measurable, attainable, realistic, and with that time setting and time specific. So asking yourself some hard questions is a big part of goal setting. You're going to see a lot of leaders do that. And then this goal setting worksheet, this is going to be in your notebook. So these are where you're just going to brainstorm. If you journal, this is going to be a great place for you to put this. What are your goals for the next 3 to 5 years? This is something I asked on our Southern Romantics little survey I sent out, is where do you see your business in 5 years? Because I want you guys to all be in business in 5 years, but I want you to have thought about where your business is going to be. I know where I want mine to be, but I think so many of us, especially when we're new, is we're just so excited to pay off our kit and make some money that we kind of forget what can happen and the success that a lot of women have achieved in this business. So I want that to be something that's on your brain. Is that something that you want, or do you just need this to kind of get you through for the next couple years? That's totally cool. There's no wrong answer to this. I just want you to make sure you're being honest with yourself. What are the goals that you, and I love the fact, that this challenges you to write these down and then seal it in an envelope with today's date, but in 5 years. And you can hide it or put it in your office or just put it somewhere where in 5 years from now you can open that up and read where you thought you would be and compare it to where you actually are. And what's really cool is if you've exceeded that, or maybe you met that goal super early or you blew it out of the water. That's really kind of cool to go back and be like, oh my gosh, I get it. Okay. Goals that you've set out to do this year, goals for the next 30 days, goals for the next 24 hours. If you've spent any amount of time with me, you know that I have lists everywhere. So those are all my goals. Cindy knows because she's lived in my house for the past 6 months trying to figure out how my brain works. And then I love this part where I asked you to write down positive affirmations about where you desire your life to be. This is going to help you get rid of bad habits and old ways of thinking that usually stand in our way. Again, we're the biggest obstacle to our own success. So it might sound cheesy repeating some mantras in the mirror, but I would totally recommend it. And if your partner, your husband, your spouse is going to give you crap for it, punch them in the throat and keep saying your mantras, all right? Because then you can make a butt ton of money and you can leave his ass. No, I'm totally kidding. Don't do that. But at least you will have known that you are working hard to make your dreams come true. We have enough people that are outside negative influences on us that we have to be our biggest cheerleader. So saying these affirmations to yourself out loud every single day, or having those 5 minutes where you're saying, my life is in complete balance. Every day my income increases, whether I'm working, playing, or sleeping. Money comes easily and frequently. It's amazing when you say it out loud how it just happens, because you're more motivated to do the work. If you just sit there and you're not doing anything, we'll see if it works, but you have to go out there and do the work. So I love this sheet for that. So that's unofficially your homework. Do some mantras, write down all your goals. You don't have to share these with me, but just making sure that you're holding yourself accountable. If in 3 months you're like, oh, Megan, my business sucks, what do you recommend? And you haven't done any of these things, I'm going to send you right back to here. So go ahead and do them now and get in the habit, because I love you guys, but I don't want to hear you complain about something that you already know the answers to, because you're smart, intelligent, amazing women, and you can do it. Okay, so ways to kind of visualize and help you achieve your goals. Something that we do as a team every single January is we do vision boards. So I've got the past 3 years hanging up here in my office. And we just do these vision or dream boards. We sit around with a couple bottles of wine, scissors, glue sticks, and a huge stack of magazines. We just cut out pictures that inspire us, that might represent something that we desperately want in our lives, and just hang it again where you're going to see it every day. And it's really kind of cool to see, especially year after year, what are the same things that have been up there every single year, something that I'm obviously still working towards. And what are the things that change, and what are the things that I've accomplished? And, you know, these vacation pictures or these pictures of friendships, are those coming to fruition? That kind of fun stuff. So dream boards, get ready for that, because it's going to be awesome. So that's going to be happening at our January meeting. So keep your magazines and bring them. the savings bottles that we've been doing is a great way for you to put money away. Mine, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's over here on my bookshelf. Now, something that I did for myself, or the goal that I set is, my goal is to use that savings bottle when I build out my office to kind of help furnish it. So what I'm doing right now, because it's something I can afford to do, is $20 a week. So that's not a ton of money, but when I get cash at a party, I take all but 20 of it to the bank, and 20 of it I just stick in that bottle. And then when I'm ready to open it, we'll have a bottle breaking ceremony. I know a lot of women do this for World Conference, where we shatter the bottle and we can count your money and see what you've achieved. You can put a little tracker on it and kind of cut off or check off all the things that you've put into it, but it's just a great way for you to put money aside. So you're going to decorate that wine bottle. And I told you guys, if you brought your decorated wine bottles to our December meeting, then Mrs. Claus might show up and throw something in there for you. So just go ahead and make sure you bring your wine bottles. And if you need empty wine bottles, you know where to find them. Oh, look, Cindy's got hers. Yay! Is that full or is that empty? Womp womp. All right. And I've seen consultants that have 5 or 6 of them because they have a couple different things they're saving for. So maybe one girl's saving one for the Orlando trip, but also the Cincinnati trip. And maybe then she's got a car fund if she wants a new car, or she's saving up to buy inventory. So feel free to drink a ton of wine and have a bottle for everything different. Just make sure you're able to contribute to those on a regular basis. And other things that help you with your goals is an accountability buddy. So this is something we'll probably be talking about at our January meeting as well, but just someone that you can check in with on a weekly or monthly basis, that you've expressed your goals to. They don't have to be, higher than you. They just have to be someone that you guys talk to. So you've shared your hopes and dreams and goals, and then you just have a touchstone. Once a month or once a week. Oh my gosh, when? I know that you said you wanted to make 10 calls this week. Did you do them? And that's okay if you didn't, but you're going to have someone to touch base with. And I like the accountability buddies because I'm really competitive. I'm terrible at sports, but I am extremely competitive. So if they're like, yeah, I made my 10 calls. Did you make your 10 calls? And I didn't. Then next week I'm going to go make 20 and I'm going to show her, which is probably not exactly what that's meant for, but that's how I respond to it, but it helps me get off my butt and get it done, right? So that's good. At least the work is getting done. So because I know you guys didn't get a chance to do your income goal sheets for this week, I really would love for next week if you guys can prepare to share your goals with the team. It can be a savings amount. It can be where you want to see your business, but just 3 goals. Those 3 goals that you have on your income goal sheet. And feel free to think long-term because, I love long-term. You also have some homework. We're going to be talking, I believe, next week about money. Is that right? Yeah. So building inventory and money management. Y'all know I love money. So your homework next week is to make sure you've got a small business checking account set up. And pictures of your savings bottle. So if you've done one of these wine bottles, I know you're going to bring it to our December meeting, but go ahead and post a picture on our team Facebook page to get these girls jazzed and excited about making sure they've got their wine bottles decorated in time for our December meeting so that Mrs. Claus can maybe treat them to some goodness too. And if you don't know who Mrs. Claus is, then you are on the wrong team. Y'all need to come over to Team Southern Romantics because Mrs. Claus keeps it on and popping in December. So again, your homework, income goal sheet, share your goals, any homework that you haven't done already from these calls, set up your small business checking account. No, not another just personal checking account. This needs to be a business one because this is business. It's not a hobby. It's not a personal account. And share pics of your savings bottle on our Facebook page. So with that, I want to thank your beautiful faces for tuning in this evening. I'm excited to chat with you next week about building inventory and money management. Yay! And with that, I'm going to go ahead and close this out. You guys stay on and we'll do a little Q&A before our time runs out, and I will get this uploaded to the YouTubes here in a couple minutes. Sound like a plan? Yay! Thanks for tuning in, ladies.